Did you know that Visual Studio's snippets have support for variables? In this video, I'm going to show you how I use Visual Studio Code snippets to make it a lot easier for me when I'm creating a blog post. Come on in! So welcome to my Visual Studio Code. As you can see, I'm starting a blog post on creating an architecture kata, and I need to put my front matter in here. But I don't want to have to type it every single time I create a blog post, so I created a snippet. In order to see snippets, bring up your command palette. So I'm going to press Control-Shift-P in Windows. On Mac and Linux, it's different. But bring up the command palette and then search for Configure User Snippets. Configure User Snippets. The next question is going to be, what kind of snippet are you creating? Well, my blog is in Markdown, so I'm going to do a search for Markdown. And you'll notice as I type, it filters down to the language I'm looking for. My Markdown already has a JSON file, so snippets are stored in JSON. If you didn't have a JSON file created, it would start with a blank file. I'm going to select my markdown.json. Welcome to my snippet. Now, the anatomy of a snippet is a snippet has a name, and then it has some fields within. So my snippet's name is Generate Gatsby Blog Template. The things that you're going to see, though, is that it has a prefix, and it has a description. And those are going to be seen when we do insert snippet, so I'll point those out later. The part I'm excited to show you, though, is this body. Why am I excited to show you this? Because, as I mentioned in the intro, Visual Studio Code's user-defined snippets have support for variables. In my blog post, in my front matter, I have to have a date, and it's in a very particular format, and I don't want to have to remember that format every time. And I'd like to have a date close to my publication date, because usually when I create a blog post, it gets released a few days later. So let's automate this with my snippet. My author field is predefined as Sadukie because I only write as myself. But this date field, this is where I'm super excited because variables. So see this current year, $, all caps, underscore. This is the naming convention you'll see with your variables. Because our date requires a T between the day field and the hour field, you'll notice that my current date field has curly braces. It's because I need to have this T in here. If I didn't have the T in there and I had some clear delineation, then that's fine. But because I have some string going there, I need to say, hey, this is the end of the variable name. Current date is the name, hence curly braces. And after that, we get into my hour, :minute, :second, dot zeros in the Z because this is the format is required. However, I need to caution you that these current hour, current minute, current second, these are not UTC times. These are your local time. There isn't support for UTC yet, so I need to caution you on that. But the fact of the matter is, I can get this in a format that I already need. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Let's go back to that blog post I started. So how do I insert my front matter? Well, let's insert the snippet. So bring up your command palette and search for insert snippet. And as you're typing that, I'm going to select snippets, insert snippet. Now, if you remember, I pointed out that there was a Gatsby blog for my prefix, and I had a description of boilerplate for Gatsby blog. I can search for the prefix. I could search for words that appear in the description. So if I type boilerplate, for example. So the prefix and description for the snippets are searchable. When I select that snippet, notice there's my predefined author, and there's the date and the format that I need, and a date that's close to my release time. I can go ahead and change it from there, but the point is I don't need to remember that format. I can use a snippet to take care of it and populate it in a date close to what I need. I hope this video inspires you to use snippets with these variables to make your coding a lot easier. Check the description for links on how to create user snippets, as well as the variables that are supported. Happy coding!